419 with Gretchen DeBacker, Matt Killam, and Kevin Mullen.
Welcome into the 419, a Mayor Monday edition of the 419. I'm Kevin Mullen.
Gretchen DeBacker.
Matt Killam.
We're traveling to Lima, Ohio today, being joined by Mayor Sharetta Smith, and then also Rhonda Lehman, the president of Mercy Health Lima, going to be on the program today. I'm excited for that conversation.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
Me too. A couple big gets for our little show, and it's sort of a dark horse in terms of popularity. Mayor Monday, I think I get stopped and commented on that people really are enjoying it. So I'm sure will be par for the course.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. Like, I love kind of the ability to tour the region and hear from. You will find no bigger cheerleader for any community than their mayor, and so it's a chance to see Lima through the eyes of somebody who loves it probably more than anybody else in Lima.
That's right.
And so we're excited to have that conversation with Mayor Smith. We've continued to get feedback on the show. I actually had a panic because social media, I think you may have boosted a post on social, Gretchen, and we started getting responses from people saying, stop, please stop. And I was like, oh God, people don't like the show. And then I realized they were just responding to the automated messages that we were pushing to them, that they wanted those to stop. So I get it.
We're taking it that way.
Yeah, that's right. But if people want to provide feedback, positive only positive feedback.
Right.
Negative feedback will be deleted immediately. But you can email. We now have an email.
We do. We have our own email.
We are that official here in month 3 of the 419. It's now, you can email 419@WGTE.org. If you've got an idea for something to be on the show, you've got an event coming up you want to promote, or you just want to tell us how great we are.
You want to suggest new hosts? It's an option.
Don't do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
You just, I want to know why
email
you,
it.
you looked directly at me when you said that, Gretchen. I don't appreciate that.
I can feel the emails coming in now.
At Jody DeBacker.
My goodness. All right. Well, it's going to be an exciting show. Chances we take a tour down to Lima, Ohio. Of course, 3 opportunities every single day to enjoy the program. 7 a.m. on YouTube, 3 p.m. on FM 91 in Toledo, Bryan, Defiance, and Lima, and 6 p.m. on WGTE Connects, channel 30.4, and of course 24/7, 365 on the new and improved WGTE app. You got to download that.
Love it.
Yeah.
I already have it.
Did you actually download it,
I
man?
did it live on the show.
Okay.
Yeah, it took me the whole show, but I did it. Yeah.
Oh, you got that high-speed internet there, man.
That's right.
Great.
Yeah. I got one of the G's.
It's either one. Geez, it's interesting that cell phones don't use dial-up internet.
Is it?
That's a joke, I think.
Oh.
Should we? I don't. That's a good one. We can edit that. We can edit him after. Right? Still worth the magic.
Oh, that's a good one. I love it. All right. When we come back, we're going to take a trip down I-75 to Lima, Ohio. We're joined by Lima Mayor Sharetta Smith. We'll be right back on the 419.
Support for the 419 comes from Witro Wealth Management, where we understand that your financial path is personal. Advisory services are offered through Capital Investment Advisory Services, LLC. Securities offered through Capital Investment Group, Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. More information at witroadvisors.com.
The 419, powered by WGTE, is made possible in part by supporters like you. Thank you.
Introducing The Local Thread, a community news series uniting voices and storytellers from across the region. In partnership with La Prensa, the Toledo Free Press, the Sojourner's Truth, Toledo Public Schools, and Rethinking Jails and Justice. The Local Thread brings you stories and conversations that connect our community. Hear it weeknights at 7 on FM 91 with early access on podcast platforms each morning. The Local Thread, only on WGTE.
Welcome back into the 419. It's Mayor Monday. We're taking a trip down I-75 to Lima, Ohio. We're joined now by the mayor of Lima, or I think we deemed there was the Queen of Mercy.
Queen of Mercy, yeah.
But the mayor of Lima.
That's awesome.
We can give you a better title by the end of the show. We'll come up with it. Sharetta Smith, Mayor Smith, thank you so much for being here.
It is great to be here today. I really appreciate you all taking the time to highlight cities across Northwest Ohio, and particularly talking with us mayors.
Well, we're also, this is the first Monday in March, which is Women's History Month, and you are our first female mayor that we've had on. So we're very happy to welcome you also on today's date. Tell us how you started.
Yeah, why don't we done this to yourself?
So if I had to answer that question very simply, I would say it is because I love my city. You know, I was one of those young people growing up in Northwest Ohio, and I'm going to date myself, but it felt like Footloose. Can't wait to get out of here, right? And
John
so,
Lithgow is your dad.
so you watched the show as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So I did just that. So I ended up, you know, leaving Lima in my mid-20s, and I worked for a company that sold wire and pipes and cable to Procter & Gamble and other organizations. Ended up finishing up a law degree that I had started before I moved away. And worked for 4 years as a public defender, 6 years as a magistrate judge in Chattanooga, Tennessee. A very huge part of my story is that I was a young mom before I was 21 years old. I had 3 children.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So it meant I was an empty nester early. And so I was ready to leave Tennessee and come back to Ohio and ended up, you know, yeah.
3 children.
3 children.
Oh my God.
3 children.
Yeah, at the risk of making you feel uncomfortable, I have little children. You look fabulous.
Thank
you. I don't know if I'm going to make it through the day. So that is no small feat.
She looks good because she's an empty nester now.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
That's part of it. That's
She has
part
time
of
to
it.
take care of herself
Thank you
now.
for giving me some hope.
Yes, that's part of it.
Yes.
It gets better.
How did you manage this? And that could not have been easy. Law school, driving a career, being a leader. How did you manage these things?
Well, in doing it, I mean, if you're from Lima, right? I mean, doing it away from family and sort of that core default support system.
Yes, absolutely. So the answer about, you know, how did I keep doing it? It was really my children were my motivation. So having grown up, you know, in a city, you know, like Lima's not a lot different from Toledo or some of our urban cities across our state. As a mom, you understand that if you can't create a certain lifestyle or normalcy or expectations for your children, it doesn't take you far to see kind of what their lives can end up like.
Well said.
And so they were my motivation to keep going. And it was actually also, you know, the lived experience of being a mom that made me want to make the transition from being an attorney into going to work in local government. And just more specifically, as a magistrate, you know, my job was to set bonds on individuals when they came, you know, into the system. And because we had mandatory sentencing, there were some young people who were facing crimes at the age of 18 that if they were convicted, they would have spent 10 years in prison without a probation. And I began to think, what is happening in our local communities where babies feel like these are the choices that they have to make? I'm on the wrong end of this, and I need to figure out how I'm going to do something different. And whether you call it, you know, divine timing or something, I ended up getting a job in my hometown, Lima, Ohio, working for the previous mayor as his chief of staff.
Okay.
And he finished a 32-year career as mayor of Lima and tapped me to run.
Tell me about, there's got to be a community, a family that put this into your DNA, right? Or maybe you just did it on your own. Was it your folks that did this, a grandparent, a church? What gave you, first of all, the will to do what you just articulated? Because by no means is that just, oh, then I just followed these steps.
No.
But who created the young-looking individual we have on the show
You're
today?
too kind. You're too kind. No, I would say it was definitely my parents, my grandparents, but it really was the whole community. You know, heavily manufacturing, working class community. If my family, you worked for one of the auto manufacturers, my mother still works for one of the auto manufacturers today.
How about
After
that?
47 years, she's still there.
What is wrong with you people? Why can't you just take a break?
At all.
Yeah.
At all. But just you know, the ethos that you give back to those communities that instilled in you. But family is very important. And really that whole village mentality as well.
Yes, ma'am.
When you were a kid, what was the first dream job? Because I mean, I imagine it wasn't mayor.
Having a bunch of children moving to Tennessee, every little girl's dream.
So when I was a kid, believe it or not, I wanted to be a model. Okay. But then I stopped growing. So I'm only about 5'1", so it was not going to work. But when I was a kid, that's what I wanted to be.
How about that? And I think 5'10" might be generous.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. We had to help you get into this chair.
So was it the job as the mayor's chief of staff that brought you back to Lima?
It was.
Talk a little bit about him. He was there for so long. And then did you have the inkling at the time you were going back that he was going to be retiring and maybe you would be the next one running? Or was that came after you had worked there?
That came after I had worked there. And the inkling to be mayor, I will say with all cats, absolutely not.
Yes, ma'am.
Because for me, I learned a lot from him. And so number one is the mayor in the city of Lima. We are a charter city, strong mayor. So the mayor is the chief executive officer. So that part of the job, I absolutely love. And so it is, working with our, 400 plus employees to deliver
employees.
Yes. Deliver the best service that we can to our customer, which is our residents first, secondarily businesses and other stakeholders. But the thing that I really, really learned from my predecessor, and his name was Mayor David Berger, helped me in making the transition from a public servant to an elected official was the fact that our office is nonpartisan. And watching him govern in a way to where there was no particular leaning to what political office you were in, making the best decision for the city, understanding it's important to have those collaborative relationships and work across the aisle to get things done. I had a front row seat about how to do that.
Did Mayor Berger see something in you that he said, hey, you should think about this? Or did you go to him and say, hey, retire so I can take, which way was it?
He came to me.
Yeah.
Several times.
Yeah. He said, look, my wife really wants me to quit.
Yeah. That's called attrition.
Yeah.
You're just wearing you down.
Yeah, several times. And it wasn't until I really felt comfortable that I could do the job of the mayor when I said yes. And my yes was also about, my story is that, my grandparents migrated to Northwest Ohio, Lima, back in the 40s during the Great Migration when African Americans were leaving the South because of Jim Crow. And, working in the steel mills, one set of grandparents raised 9 children, the other raised 10. And I felt like, I'm not going to say yes to this job, not being the mayor, but the job, if I don't think I can do a good job doing it. And after I felt comfortable sitting under him to do that part was what made my yes easier.
This is
We're talking with Sharetta Smith, the mayor of Lima, Ohio, on a Mayor Monday here on the 419. Introduce us to Lima. So if people aren't familiar, who is Lima, Ohio?
So by location, we are right at the intersection of I-75 and US 30 between Dayton and Toledo, and about an hour and a half northwest of our capital city, Columbus. We have a very strong manufacturing, logistics, and healthcare industry. We were also one of the first cities in the country to have a streetcar. Oil was found in the city of Lima back in the 1800s. So John D. Rockefeller had a house there. Standard Oil has some beginnings there. We are the only manufacturer of the U.S. Army tank. So we have a tank plant there. We have a Procter & Gamble plant there, which is the world's largest manufacturer of the Downey brand. We have a Ford engine plant there.
They used to sell them wire and
cable.
Or yes, man. Yeah.
When you meet her?
Just seems like years ago.
Yeah. So we are a very heartfelt hometown city that has a lot of points to be proud of. At the same time, we do have some challenges. About 1 in 4 of our families live in poverty. More of our households are renters than homeowners. But we are tackling those challenges head on. And the thing that I'm most excited about is that, growing up in Lima, we were a city to where people say where you're from, and we say Lima. No, there was not a lot of pride.
Yes, ma'am.
But now we are very, very proudful of the progress that we've been able to make. And we are talking better about ourselves.
What kind of relationship have you developed with those industries in your town to work on that, to work on the pride, to work on some of those other projects? Have you built those relationships with them to achieve some of the goals in the community?
Yes, we have. And so one of the stakeholders, our major stakeholders, is our hospital, Mercy Health. And what I love about our partnership with Mercy Health is it really is not just about healthcare. It's about all of the social determinants of health.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm wearing red today because for the last 5 years, we've been partnering with them for an event called Lima Women Have Heart, which is all about heart health. But it doesn't stop there. They've worked with us with housing initiatives, bringing back some of our neighborhoods. They work with us with helping to raise money for a new aquatic park that we now have in our city. And so we built an $11+ million aquatic park over the last 5 years.
Tell me about this park.
Oh, it is wonderful. And I can't swim, but it is wonderful. So it is a indoor-outdoor facility.
Cool.
That has a lane pool where we are hosting swim meets. Some of our regional local colleges are having their practices there. And then there's the outdoor pool as well for families as well. But one of the most exciting things about the project is that our local school has committed to teach every second and fourth grader how to swim. So they're having swim lessons there.
It is so important.
It's amazing.
Absolutely. This is probably an unfair question. Well, let me start with one of them. How long have you been there?
About 4 years and 60 days.
So you've got not that we're counting, but there is.
That just means you don't have to run for another few years.
That is correct.
Congrats on the recent re-election.
Thank you.
So the transition in the role from behind the scenes to some degree administrator to a more political figure, was there a moment both positively and negatively? And the negatively, what I mean by like, can I do this? Everyone to some degree has a bit of an imposter syndrome. Was there a particular moment where you're like, well, maybe even do I want to do this? Because one of the things with the mayor is you are no longer grocery shopping with any anonymity.
That's true.
You are no longer going to the park, your beloved park, and just as a bystander. Talk to me a little bit about the duality of Mayor Smith and Ms. Smith.
Yeah, so I will say imposter syndrome is a very real reality. And I could say I don't have it anymore, but that would not be true. So I still have imposter syndrome. And so I'll talk about it both ways. So from an internal perspective, the day-to-day of running the city, you go from being a peer with individuals who are now reporting to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
So that takes time in transition.
These two have had a hard time being subservient to me.
Have they?
Yeah. I mean, they're getting there.
Only because we don't do it at all.
Well, that is a bit of a hiccup.
Okay.
Yeah, please keep going. Forgive me.
No. So, and the way we have gotten over that is a lot of communication, a lot of strategic planning, goal setting, checking in, and also understanding that we do practice grace.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's how we've gotten over that.
Yeah.
There's got to be a piece of this, though. I mean, it's getting reelected, right? So, I mean, you could make an argument that you had a strong endorsement from a longstanding mayor saying, hey, this is the person I've picked I think is the right person to lead the city. But you had 4 years to prove to the city whether you could do it or not. And they had a chance to say whether they agreed or not.
And did you have an opponent either time?
Oh,
see.
Well, I had an opponent the first time. Re-election, I did not have.
That's amazing.
Because you forced them out of their homes. Yeah. But that's a great point. And I hope, again, I was going to say something as well. Leadership in that fashion doesn't just happen. You have to commit to it. So I hope you are counting your flowers in that way because you planted them. That's not an easy road. You have to be strong enough to, first of all, be vulnerable in the way you just were. So I thank you for that. Because it's an important question, right? You oversee or work on behalf of 35,000 people. And if they don't see you as a human being too, then it is not the connection that is going to be 30 years running.
We're talking with Mayor Sharetta Smith from Lima, Ohio. You guys are doing some incredible work in the areas of childcare, workforce development, healthcare access, a lot of things. I want to dive into the details of some of those. And you talked about the housing challenges of having more renters than homeowners. I'd love to dive in on what are some of the tactical things that you guys are doing day to day. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation on a Mayor Monday here on the 419 with Lima Mayor Sharetta Smith. We'll be right back.
To me, community means connecting to others.
I'm Donnie Miller, and welcome to The Point.
I love CBS Kids!
We're a community committed to education. Discover new ideas, dive into exciting subjects, and engage with the world around you.
I would send them personally a t-shirt. Crime doesn't pay in the old West End, pass it on. That's how we cleaned up the neighborhood.
Vision loss for people is not the end.
It's a story, it's the next chapter.
WGTE Public Media invites you to Get Out and Play Day.
Monday through Friday, it's the 419 powered by WGTE. With Matt Killam, Gretchen DeBacker, I'm Kevin Mullen. What can people expect on the show?
It's going to be an hour, a reminder of why this is a great place to live, work, and play.
WGTE, where you come to watch, listen, and learn.
Welcome back into the 419. It's a Mayor Monday edition, and we're talking with the mayor of Lima, Ohio, Mayor Sharetta Smith. Mayor, you talked about in our last segment, interesting statistic that you said over the majority of folks are renting, not owning in Lima. I guess let's start with why is that a problem?
Well, the number one reason that it's an issue is that stability. Because when you look at, the American way, home ownership is how we build wealth. That's how you have stability for families and children, your school, your friends. That's why it's an issue. And in Lima, we have been keenly focused on trying to work to increase home ownership across the full spectrum. So we did a housing study back in 2019. I was chief of staff at the time. And out of that study, it stated that we needed, and it's going to sound small compared to the rest of the country, but we needed about 2,200 units. And that was from market rate all the way to supportive housing. When you look at across the country, that unit is about 4 million that are short.
Right.
And so we began working diligently with several partners, because one of the other things that came out in that study was that we needed more partners in the housing space to help us achieve that goal. So we've worked with Mercy Health, and you'll hear more about their initiatives. But we also created what's called a Community Improvement Corporation. Well, it's been very difficult, though, so it's good to hear you say that.
Yeah, I only know enough about this to be dangerous with some of my day job work, but it is smart, but it is difficult. Please keep going. Forgive me.
No, and we've been working diligently to do both rehab and infill development, block by block in our neighborhoods, working with our land bank. And so last year, or over the last 2 years, I think we transferred about 30 plus properties through our land bank, which is phenomenal. We were able to put over $500,000 out into the community to assist individuals with home repairs, mainly roofs.
Roofs and windows, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what is this is not a problem that's unique to Lima. It's in Toledo, it's in our state and every state. And the amount of investment that's needed, as you mentioned, is it's just huge. What's the model? Is there a national model? Is there a national organization that somewhere that fixing this problem is working great, that you guys are looking to follow their lead?
Well, so I don't know if anyone has gotten it completely right. But to your point, there's not an organization that is not working towards, closing this housing gap. And so my work with the U.S. Conference of Mayors.
Just ask, yeah.
Yeah, and I recently joined another group called Mayors and CEOs for Housing as well. Our work through working very closely with our state and the Ohio Realtors Association. So some of the things that we're doing is, from a build perspective, we are working with the Ohio Realtors Association to use the Pattern Pre-Plan book that they put out last April. which really helps developers save time and money because we know we need to build more faster. And if we can cut some of those permitting processes,
Yes.
that helps.
Yes, ma'am.
There's a lot of things happening in the state. So the state has Welcome Home Ohio funding, which we were able to qualify for and received. And with that funding, we are applying $30,000 per unit, whether that's rehab costs or acquisition costs. We're working through Community Development Block Grant with the federal government to help particularly low to moderate income individuals with down payment assistance. And then locally, we're also working with our local Realtors Association, where in about 2 weeks, we're going to have our 3rd annual home ownership, home buyer seminar with high school kids. So talking to them early about the importance of home ownership.
Are you facing, like so many communities in our region are facing, the data center debate?
We are.
Okay. Would you like to talk about that?
So I will say.
She might not.
Thank you, Kevin. I will say that Lima, we have a data center coming. They've not made an announcement yet about who they are. They are not located in the city, and so the zoning or any of those
county.
It was not us.
Okay,
yes,
got it.
But we are the regional water provider, so we will sell water to the company. But I will say it is an issue that we are watching closely.
Yes, same here. There are a myriad of things that from a clinical standpoint, I don't know if that's the way to articulate it, but also home ownership does create or fortify community, right? As we build parks, it isn't the only way to register whether a neighborhood is healthy or not, certainly, but home ownership is one of the data points, right? So I admire your strategy here. It is what it has been working, and as you mentioned, it isn't an easy step one way or the other, and there's challenges on both sides of it, right?
It is.
But moving into childcare, you are very aware of childcare needs, it sounds like, from as we got part of your history. Talk to us a little bit about that and why it's important.
Yeah, so, it used to be that we talked about how many people spent more than 30% of their income on housing and how that was burden. And so now we're having the conversation about how there are some families spending 50% or more of their income on housing. On childcare.
Yeah.
And so what we've been doing with that, we were happy to partner with Findlay Mayor Christina Murn and Groundworks Ohio as part of their statewide roundtable, bringing awareness to the issue and really making the connection that, childcare and lack of childcare is not just a issue for families. It's a workforce issue.
Yes, ma'am.
But it's also a education issue too, because we also know that those early years for young people are the most important when it comes to learning and.
Well, you're not talking necessarily about childcare. You're talking about high quality preschool education, right?
Yes.
So this is for 3 and 4-year-olds to prepare them then for kindergarten to enter in the Lima Public Schools, which makes it even more difficult because of the licensures and the cost of that. Is this something that would be privately funded in your community? Are you working on a statewide initiative for it?
So what we're doing right now is bringing awareness to the issue. And, me personally, I see childcare and early education as one and the same.
Thing, yeah.
Same.
And I also think that what we're missing is being able to tap into the non-traditional childcare that's already happening. We know there are some grandmas and aunties watching babies who could also use some boost in their income as well.
Right.
So can we figure out a way to where we can meet both of those needs? For the child care, for the families, the education for the children, but also the grandma and the auntie to bring in additional income.
Is that a goal for your next administration to continue to work on that?
It is, but it can't be a primary goal because it's not an area where I have any oversight.
That's right. Yeah.
And so what we've done is, in addition to the advocacy, we've helped fund a pre-kindergarten camp in our community as well. So those are really just kind of two things that we've done. And then, not necessarily childcare, but it could be. we've made significant investments in after-school programming because we know that's an issue for older children whose parents are working.
It's frustrating. It is so frustrating to me, and I by no means I can empathize. I cannot relate with all the things, but for the average person that does not see all of the things, even the 2 issues that we talked about, they're not holistically involved in all the other challenges or issues we have in a community, right? So as we think about what kids are doing, we think about crime, we think about who's going to take care of us next, we think about wanting a strong workforce. Well, people have to be able to have their kids be taken care of to go to work and be present at work, right? So the frustration, I guess, to me, and this is now sort of a bit of a soapbox, so forgive me, is that you don't think how well your neighbor's doing or how healthy they are isn't going to immediately impact how you are doing in your household, then you're a fool.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, and I've worked in education enough in my career. Like I've always said that, and some of this is, a legislative issue, right? But if Toledo Public Schools, for example, could spend a quarter of their budget on families, school district would improve, right? Because part of the challenge is, kids go home and they're going home alone, right? Because their parents are working, right? Their parents have got to be able to pay for everything. And so they're not making enough in their job. And so it's like, well, if you gave parents a stipend to parent, that would actually pay off in the education side, would pay off in the community side. And we'd see that, we'd see that growth in the economy, but they can't, right? And so it's like, no, you have to spend it here. And it's like, but this isn't working.
But we've talked about some challenges that a lot of Midwest towns are having, and towns probably all over USA. But let's flip over to the other side of the coin. Tell me, Lima, some of the things that are must-stops if you're traveling through, you're spending the weekend. Tell me, what is your favorite place to eat? Talk to me about tour me through Lima.
All right, so I'm going to give you a tour, but I will tell you that you don't talk about Lima without talking about Cupid.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
so we are the famous.
That's the only reason we had you on.
I should have brought Cupid.
Wait, you didn't bring me?
I did not bring Cupid.
All right, well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll bring somebody that brought us food.
We don't even have Mayor Monday. We just lied to have you on the show.
No, so one of the things about Lima, and I kind of opened up talking about it, it really is our location. You can, live in a city where you can get anywhere in 15 minutes.
Yes.
But still be within an hour to, I think the statistics say, about 60% of the world. And so when I'm looking to fly, I can fly out of Toledo, Columbus, Detroit, Fort Wayne. I can, get almost anywhere.
Absolutely.
Within a day.
Yes, ma'am.
Also, there is a lot of hometown pride. Like we are very resilient, very hopeful, very collaborative.
Yes, ma'am.
And so those things I really, really like about Lima. And we're also known for basketball. And
yes.
so
I'm a Central Catholic grad, so we don't need to talk about that.
They just had, it was like the greatest high school dunk I have ever seen in my life from a kid on Lima Senior's basketball team this season. It is like, it would, I don't.
Was it you?
I don't think, it was on ESPN Top 10. I don't know that I've seen an NBA player dunk like that in a game. It was unbelievable.
When I want to eat and tour Lima, so tell for those who may not know, Yupi and another fun stops, talk to us a little bit about Lima's attraction.
So one of the things that I talked about, how we feel better about ourselves. So in the last 5 years or so, we've had about $60 million of investments in our downtown.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yes, and that is public infrastructure, that is private dollars, that is institutional dollars. And so we had several new restaurants in our downtown now. And so we had we've had the Met that's been there, for quite a while. And actually, I was at the Met the night that I was first elected as mayor of the city of Lima. But in addition to that, we have Old City Prime.
Yes. I forgot about Old City Prime.
As well. We have a new restaurant called the Social House.
Okay.
We have a Pins Duck Bowling as well. We have an Italian restaurant that is in the basement of a renovated building called Nono's Cellar. And so we like to eat,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
And we really like comfort food as well too. And so
Sounds great.
we're known for those things, but our downtown is really thriving, and we're very excited to see it coming back.
So you can do some duck pen bowling, go for a swim in the new park, get some Italian food in the basement.
Well, not everybody could go.
Yeah.
to the swim.
Okay, all those things.
That's the perfect date for
And
this.
we have a brand new outdoor fitness court as
Oh,
well in our city too. So.
Excellent.
All right, so we got 3 minutes left, so we're gonna have to go rapid fire here, but it's now time for Gretchen's Wacky Quiz.
All right.
I'm gonna ask you 4 rapid fire questions. Gretchen's asking for your favorite thing in or about, and we'll use Lima.
Okay.
And then Matt's gonna work with you to describe Lima in exactly 9 words.
Okay.
She's ready. She is ready.
4 rapid fire questions. Here we go. What kind of gifts do you like to receive?
Expensive ones.
Homemade gifts.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
If you were a potato, what way would you like to be cooked?
Loaded with all the fixings. So I just had one this week that has salmon and shrimp. And broccoli and Alfredo sauce.
Oh my God, that
Loaded
sounds
potato.
good.
Whoa.
Again, and something else you could have brought us.
That's fine. I'm sorry.
What is one thing that you still have from when you were little?
Cabbage Patch doll.
Nice.
Oh, because you share the clothes.
I could.
Oh my goodness. When was the last time you cried at a film?
Oh, that would have been yesterday. Bridgerton came out yesterday.
Oh.
Well, guys, this is a show for children. Please, we'll just keep moving.
What is your #1 most favorite thing about Lima?
The people.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect.
All right, that's a good cue up for our 9 things. You ready to do it together, Miss Bear?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
All right, 9 things to describe Lima or our region.
All right. Hopeful,
Hope will love it.
resilient,
Yes, ma'am.
innovative,
Innovative.
welcoming,
Welcoming. Foodie. We're going to give you 2 for that.
Yep.
All right.
Prideful.
Prideful. 2 more.
I said resilient, but we're fighters. I don't know.
We are fighters. Yes, ma'am. We got close, strong. I know you said you didn't have a favorite kid, so you want to mention all 3 of their names out loud?
Yes. Sierra.
Yep.
Shane.
Yep.
Shaman.
Okay.
And I have 3 grandbabies.
Oh my gosh.
I do.
All right.
So can I say their names?
Sure. Of course.
Chloe,
Chloe?
Kaveh,
Yep.
and Noel.
Okay.
Beautiful.
And those are actually your favorites.
They are.
Yes, ma'am. I get it. All right.
That's fair.
Thank you.
That's fair. Mayor Sharetta Smith, thank you,
Thank you for
so
having
much.
me.
So much for being here.
Yes.
We appreciate you being on here. When we come back, you've brought an incredible guest for us. We're going to have Rhonda Lehman, the president of Mercy Health Lima, and we'll talk about some of their investments in Lima and some of the great work that they're doing to build community and address social determinants of health. That on the other side of this break on the 419, powered by WGTE.
Support for the 419 comes from Witro Wealth Management, where we understand that your financial path is personal. Advisory services are offered through Capital Investment Advisory Services, LLC. Securities offered through Capital Investment Group, Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. More information at witroadvisors.com.
Destination Toledo. Whether you're a local or a visitor, Destination Toledo invites you to explore the region and be a tourist in Toledo. Find events, dining, and things to do at visittoledo.org.
WorkSpring. HR issues and employee well-being go hand in hand. WorkSpring supports employers through compliance, training, and wellness because healthy workplaces don't happen by accidents. Learn more at workspring.org.
Toledo Refining Company, a subsidiary of PDF Energy. Toledo Refining Company is a supplier of fuels that keep our region moving. Located in Oregon, Ohio, the refinery processes crude oil into gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, and other petroleum products.
And TARTA, celebrating its 55th year of connecting Northwest Ohioans to their community. More information at tarta.com.
Welcome back into the 419, a Mayor Monday edition. We just wrapped up our conversation with Lima Mayor Sharetta Smith. And one of the things we love about this is a chance to see a community from the eyes of the people who love and serve that community. We're joined now by the president and CEO, I think we said Queen of Mercy Health Lima, Rhonda Lehman. Rhonda, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Tell us about Mercy Health Lima. What makes up Mercy Health Lima?
Yeah, so Mercy Health in Lima, and hopefully some of your viewers are familiar with it from the Toledo area as well. But we are part of Bon Secours Mercy Health, the 5th largest faith-based health system in the country, predominantly in Ohio, Kentucky, but then also down the East Coast as of the last number of years ago. So in Lima, we are comprised of St. Rita's, who most people know by name, their flagship hospital, as well as probably close to 25 physician office practices in the surrounding areas, a freestanding emergency department, 3 urgent cares, a child care center, and a variety of other amazing services. Just did a ribbon cutting this week on a new women's health center. So
nice.
We're growing, we're expanding, and that is what we're comprised of for the Lima Market Mercy.
So you said, women's health. Mayor Sharetta Smith said that you guys have a partnership that you guys do in the community, which is Lima Women Have Heart.
That's right.
Talk to me about that.
Absolutely. So this is an event that has been occurring for several years now, where we really have a chance to get together with women throughout the community and talk about the unique symptoms, the unique attributes of women's health, and specifically women's heart health. We always have some great speakers come in. It's a time to have camaraderie, learn a lot of information, and hopefully for some people have a chance to share their own experiences. And if we're doing what we want to be doing, it's preventive, that people are understanding women's health better and being able to prevent issues in the future.
Are you from Lima originally? Are you a transplant?
Born and raised.
I will tell you though that that does, not that you can't fall in love with the place that you've been transferred to, but there is something a little different about your stopping grounds and providing social determinants of health to it. Can you educate us a little bit, although I don't think that that's a totally foreign concept to most? Can you walk us through what that is, Mercy's way of interacting with that concept, because it is slightly different?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and Mayor Smith set it up really well when she talked about some of
She make you
these.
say that because she's terrifying.
No, she's not. She's amazing.
She is amazing.
But I know everyone knows that now. So,
Yeah.
but social determinants of health. So some of what she was saying really resonated with me about being from, because I'm from a rural area surrounding Lima. And, when people would ask me where I was from, I did the kind of Lima kind of thing. And it's been a very fulfilling thing throughout my adult life to see and be really proud of the community that I'm from. And so in being proud of that community also means acknowledging some of the challenges that we have. She quoted some of the information on so many people that live in the poverty level. And we see that and we know that. So why does Mercy care so much? Why should healthcare care so much? We know, and it sounds so elementary, that social determinants of health are critical to a community thriving and also to any individual thriving. If you don't have the funds, the ability, the understanding of how to access healthcare, it's incredibly challenging. But first and foremost, if you are worried about keeping the lights on at your house, you're worried about where your next meal is coming from. You're not worried about what time of day you're taking your cholesterol medication, right? So there are so many underlying issues that make up a person's health. And to be honest, healthcare is probably only about 20% of a person's total health. 80% of it, some studies show, is really comprised of all of those other factors that go into where you live, what you eat, how accessible it is to get to walking paths, to be able to exercise, all of those things that make up a person's health.
But the connection cannot, it's not able to be separated. I mean, those things are just completely tied together, including how you were able to communicate with individuals. How have you, what have you had to innovate to be able to communicate to people these things?
Question.
Fantastic, Gretchen. Thank you for asking.
Thank you so much.
Don't just be answer her. That's not what we do on this show.
Oh, sorry. So one of the things that we implemented several years back, and many health systems have done this as well, is screening questions. Every time we interact with our patients about, the different situations in their life and just kind of assess those things. But it's not enough to just assess them. If say, oh, I'm so sorry, you're hungry. So your blood pressure was high. No, that's not okay. Right. So what can we do to connect them with community resources? We can't be everything to everyone in our community. We can't furnish the housing. We can't provide all of the meals. But if we have strong partnerships in the community, then we can be able to guide people, direct people, and lift them all up together. So we have resources within all of those interactions on what to do, where to send someone if they are struggling with their rent, a roof that's leaking, whatever it may be. I have to smile because I'm from the area. all of my family goes to Mercy Health, and I have a really big family. And I remember several years ago.
How big is the family?
I have 3 older sisters.
Okay.
Amongst us, we have 10 children,
Yeah.
and about 7 or 8 of them. Let me give them.
Can you look at that camera and say your least favorite sister's name?
My least favorite sister's name.
Just kidding.
They are built-in best friends.
You're very good.
I love them dearly, and I'm the baby, so
Sure.
I got 4 moms growing up. It was really amazing.
Yeah.
So, where was I?
You were talking about having
so
a big family.
mom,
Kristen, or
mom and our family has the physician offices, and mom's like, I can't believe they asked me if I had like enough to eat. And I mean, they say it very, very tactfully.
Of course.
And I said, and it gave me a chance to explain though to some of our patients who maybe don't have some of those same challenges, why that's important and why we are kind of setting the bar and making that a level playing field. Everybody gets those questions when you come in to be able to assess those things.
We're talking with Rhonda Lehman, the president and CEO of Mercy Health Lima. I think it's interesting when you talk about those, those screening questions. I don't know that I've ever, thought about them from a position of privilege or a position of responsibility to say, hey, when somebody's asking you a question and you sort of laugh at it because it's like, well, that question's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, that comes from a place of privilege, mm-hmm. but it also comes from a place of responsibility. And I know Mercy Health is doing a lot of things in the Lima area to address the responsibility piece of that, to say, hey, we want to help with, access to food. We want to, access to healthcare. Also, Mayor Smith talked about a $65 million investment in downtown. I'm guessing you guys had something to do with a piece of that.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the things you guys are doing in the community.
Oh gosh, that's super exciting because there are a number of things that we've been doing in the community and things that the city has truly helped us with and partnered with us on. One of my favorites is Mercy Tots that opened last September, and that is our child care facility. So just down the street from about a block away or so from St. Rita's, closer to the town square, we partially received a gift from a charitable family and then also renovated that to be able to open Mercy Tots, our own child care center. It is open to the community though. It's our employees, children, as well as community members, kids. Mm-hmm. And we were able to get a grant through the city for some assistance with those renovations as well. And they've just been a tremendous partner. During the pandemic, you can't have a healthcare person on, let's not say the P word, during the pandemic, especially in healthcare, we know that it's predominantly our workforce is female. And we know females, when they chose to stay home, when they left the profession, what have you, there are challenges with childcare when women are the predominant person in that field. So a lot of childcare centers closed in our community. We saw struggles with our own staff, even if they went full-time to part-time, all of those things truly impact our ability to be able to care for people. So this is one way. It doesn't solve the whole problem. Rarely does one thing do that. But it's one way to be able to really make a dent in some of the childcare challenges that we saw with people, and it's going extremely well.
So you don't jump from, I guess let me ask a little bit of a backup question about when you were a young woman, your aspirations were to do just this. Talk to us a little bit how you got into this.
I have a really fun story. I think it's a fun story.
Well, then we want to hear it.
I started at St. Rita's almost 31 years ago as an intern in the pharmacy department. My training, my background is as a pharmacist.
So did you bring us any pharmaceuticals?
I did.
Please don't answer that question.
I keep Advil in my purse because if everybody at a ball game says who's got Advil and the pharmacist doesn't, what good am I for?
That's right.
I just feel like Lima's fallen down on the gifts.
Yeah.
I mean,
my gosh.
And she was your favorite.
If only I'd known.
You see, and she she was your favorite. Now
the expectation, right?
Well, we didn't know you were a pharmacist, but that's okay. Please proceed.
I did my undergrad at Ohio Northern, certainly not too far from Lima. In Ada.
Yeah.
I did my doctorate at Ohio State University in Columbus. Did an MBA in Tiffin. Yeah. So I kind of worked this kind of part of the state, if you will. And really the whole time was working weekends, evenings, all the times at St. Rita's to grow myself in that career. Had the chance early on, I'm just going to abbreviate it, to do some leadership things. Thought it was fun. Never in a million trillion years thought I would be the president of that organization. It's a scary thought when I think back of how little I knew then.
It does help, though, I think, to be able to be a holistic leader, to have done all the things.
I am going to say that till the day I die. Delivering meds, working on Christmas, doing those things gets you a different
Knowing how doctors work, what they need. Right.
Gives you a different level of
Their egos,
trust
your words,
in the workforce.
Talking about the relationship between Mercy Health Lima and Mercy Health Toledo, Bob Baxter and the team here.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He's a great guy.
He is.
Yeah.
So Bob and I actually used to work together in the Lima market when he first moved over to this part of the country. So I worked with Bob for many years.
You taught him everything he knows?
No,
from South
I
Dakota.
wouldn't say that
so
at all.
Yeah, no, your words, we heard you.
I would say yin and yang, we complemented each other very nicely. And at the time that Bob was in the Lima market, though, I worked on the medical group side. So I was specifically on the physician practice side, growing new practices in neighboring communities and different towns around our area. So yes, we worked together well with the Toledo market, with the Springfield market, with the Cincinnati market. And it's a real benefit to have such a network of experts. And truly, I mean, we can go back and forth on independent hospital, large system hospital. I see the value and benefits in being a system because I can pick up the phone and say, hey, Bob, hey, Adam, hey, whomever, what's going on with this issue here? Have you encountered it? It's an amazing resource.
I have a sort of unique perspective. I interned with Mercy when I was in college, 2 summers in the marketing communications department. Bob and his leadership team up here has been an integral part of my day job, which is working for the Metro Parks Toledo. And when you think about holistic partners who get it, that has been a really, really beneficial relationship with the park. It's a partner who gets it.
Absolutely.
And you have shared goals.
What's something you're most looking forward to? I'm sorry, I thought you were finished. What's something you're most looking forward to, a Mercy project in 2026 that you're working on now?
This is so easy, and you didn't even know that. I didn't. We announced yesterday that our gala in June will be fundraising for our adolescent behavioral health center.
Nice. Oh, that's needed.
No adolescent behavioral health services of this nature. We have some outpatient things, but not hardly anything at all. When patients come to RER, we have to typically transfer them to another place at least an hour to 2 hours away every time.
Interesting.
So we are going to be able to have a partial hospitalization program at St. Rita's for adolescents. Thrilled. Also, a very charitable donor in our community who's passionate about behavioral health is helping us make this happen.
That's amazing.
We are
great news.
Thrilled for that because I have a teenager and I have 2 young 20-year-olds, and the tragedies and the challenges facing that generation, we've got to do something for it.
Good for you. That's incredible news.
We're talking with Rhonda Lehman, the president and CEO of Mercy Health Lima. You know, you talk about, community hospital, large system hospital, private hospital, but one of the unique things about Mercy Health is the faith-based sort of perspective here. What difference does that make, for you in healthcare?
Wow, it makes an absolute tremendous difference to me. It's hard for me to imagine working in an environment that it wasn't so encouraged.
Certainly.
We start our day in prayer. We start most of our meetings with prayers and reflections, and our board meeting is comprised of a good chunk of the beginning of it is rooted in our foundation, rooted in our values. This is a world that those things can really easily get drowned out.
Yes, ma'am.
And so we talk a lot about our foundress, Catherine McCauley. We teach that to new associates. We reinforce it on some of the important days throughout the year. But most importantly, we believe it's something our patients feel when they come for care with us, that we are fixing them mind, body, and spirit when they're there, if possible.
You mentioned the pandemic. Obviously healthcare has been sort of, hit with some employment challenges post-pandemic. What are you guys doing at Mercy Health Lima to try to buck that trend and be able to continue to sort of grow back your workforce?
Yeah, so it was a challenging time. We saw people leaving the workforce for just a host of reasons, as I touched on briefly with even childcare. And we saw the largest complement of agency or traveling staff that we had ever seen in the time that I'd been there in the 21, 22 timeframes. So it has been a kind of digging out from that. We've talked about a nursing shortage for probably at least a decade, and it goes in waves, it does. So we already kind of were behind the 8 ball. The pandemic comes and we're even further behind. So we have been doing, you name it, to overcome that, to partner with that, everything from trying to create an environment that is really environment people want to stay in, first of all. So I always refer that to closing the back door, right?
Sure.
Retention, and we have the best in our ministry retention rate of nurses in all of our 10 markets in Lima.
Well, that's something to brag about.
And we believe it's our culture. We believe what we're doing to support people. And then we have the front door, which means we just need more people to be interested in healthcare, more people to choose that as a profession. And so we had partnered with universities, we partnered with high schools. We jokingly say, we'll come to your kindergarten class and we'll talk to you about healthcare. And we do.
What's your pitch to someone to get involved in the healthcare? Why should they consider it?
It's so easy. It's probably why 2 out of my 3 children, actually probably 3 out of 3 are going to turn towards healthcare.
Yeah.
First of all, I say it's because I make it look so fun.
That's right.
And I come home so happy every single day that they're like, I want some of that.
Yes.
But I love what I do. And so it's so easy for me to talk to the next generation about why this. I can't imagine myself doing anything different because I get to wake up every single day and say, I get to help take care of people. Now, am I at the bedside caring for them each day? No. But when I help the people that help the people,
that's right.
It lifts our community.
Yes, ma'am.
It affects my own friends, my own family, my own neighbors. And the outcomes are so amazing. What we're able to do in healthcare is so amazing. Are there challenges? Absolutely. Can it be gut-wrenching at times? Yes. But to journey with someone in some of the highest points of their life and the lowest, I can't really think of any more gratifying human experience.
Yeah. Amazing.
Is Rhonda Lehman, the president, CEO, and Queen of Mercy Health Lima. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
When we come back, we'll wrap up this Monday edition of the 419. We'll be right back.
You laughed with us. You learned with us.
Hi, neighbor.
We made sure your childhood was special. Memories that could only be provided by PBS. For generations, we've given you programs that made a difference. Programs that entertain, inform, and inspired. And today is no different. This is WGTE Public Media in Toledo. It's where you belong.
Introducing The Local Thread, a community news series uniting voices and storytellers from across the region. In partnership with La Prensa, the Toledo Free Press, the Sojourner's Truth, Toledo Public Schools, and Rethinking Jails and Justice. The Local Thread brings you stories and conversations that connect our community. Hear it weeknights at 7 on FM 91 with early access on podcast platforms each morning. The Local Thread, only on WGTE.
Welcome back into the 419 as we wrap up this Mayor Monday edition. We took a tour of Lima, Ohio through the eyes of Lima Mayor Sharetta Smith and also the Queen of Mercy Health Lima, Rhonda Lehman.
Two very, very impressive leaders in the Lima area.
And you brought up the point that today is the launch of
Women's History Month.
Women's History Month, and we kicked it off.
We kicked it off really nicely.
Yeah. We had 3 strong women on the show today.
Right. Are you including me?
I am.
Thank you,
You're
Kevin.
welcome. See, whenever Matt's not around,
See,
I
it
can
just
be nice.
it just changes the tone of everything.
Yeah, that does it. I cannot say enough how much I enjoy, seeing a community.
Yeah.
And hearing about it from the people that love it the most. And you had 2 incredible champions for Lima here today with Mayor Smith and Rhonda Lehman. It sounds like there's some great things going on. More than just QP, although I do.
More than just QP, although that's worth the drive, I think. Yeah.
It absolutely is. I try to time out when I've got to drive through, and I'm coming back from Cincinnati, Dayton, whatever.
Swing through.
How do I map through so that a mealtime happens as
Very
I'm
smart.
going through Lima? So it's perfect. All right, if you missed any part of the show, there's a lot of opportunities for you to catch it. 7 a.m. on YouTube, 3 p.m. on FM 91, 6 p.m. on WGTE Connects channel 30.4, and 24/7, 365 online, WGTE.org/the419, or through the new WGTE app. You got to download it and check it out. Of course, if you want to be on the show or have feedback for us, you can now email us 419@WGTE.org. Thanks so much to Mayor Sharetta Smith and Rhonda Lehman for joining us, and thanks to you for watching. It's the 419, powered by WGTE, presented by Witro Wealth Management.
The 419, powered by WGTE, is made possible in part by supporters like you. Thank you.